You're listening to the Broadway Podcast Network. Visit bpn.fm to discover more.
Hello, I'm Jesse McAnally.
And I'm Andrew DeWolf.
And I'm Liz Eston.
And welcome to Musicals with Cheese, a podcast where I try to get Andrew and Liz to like musical theater. And today, we're gonna take it back to the past to watch the shitty shows that suck ass.
Hey, Cole Porter, how you doing?
So, I'm getting on a boat soon.
Nice. What are you doing on the boat?
Just fucking around. Singing a few songs, maybe a wedding, maybe some racism. Depends on which version you watch. Anything goes. Cue the music.
Times have changed, and we often rewound the clock, since the Puritans got a shock when they landed on Plymouth Rock. Years today, any shock they should try to stem, instead of landing on Plymouth Rock would land on them. In olden days, a glimpse of stocking was looked on as something shocking, but now, Lord knows, anything goes. Good authors, too, who once knew better words, now only use four-letter words, writing prose. Anything goes.
So Anything Goes is a musical with two giant quotation marks around it. Written as a collaborative effort by Guy Bolton and P.G. Wodehouse. Do you remember that name, Andrew? It should ring a bell.
P.G. Wodehouse? No.
Wodehouse.
Does the name By Jeeves mean anything to you? Jeeves and Wooster?
Wait, he was by Jeeves? What?
Yeah, he wrote the original Jeeves and Wooster books.
But he didn't write the show by Jeeves.
No, he was the source material for which By Jeeves was based on.
Sorry, I found a cover of
Okay.
My Man Jeeves from the 20s, and it's really funny.
But,
You had me going for a second, though. I
they
thought
wrote
that
that
this was
book
by the guy.
in like the 30s, and you know what? It was revised considerably by the team of Howard Lindsay and Russell Krauss, and then it was later revised by John Weidman and Timothy Krauss in the 1987 revival, because you couldn't put the other ones on stage. It was basically nonsense. But the music and lyrics are by Cole Porter in a sort of way, because they were just kind of pop songs of the day that they just threw into this musical wherever they felt was right. The official Broadway debut was at the Alvin Theater on November 21st, 1934. It ran for 420 performances, becoming the fourth longest-running musical of the 1930s, despite the impact of the Great Depression on Broadway's patrons' disposable income. The opening production was directed by Howard Lindsay, with choreography by Robert Alton and sets designed by Donald Owenslager. Today, the show remains a frequently revived favorite for some reason. The story concerns a madcap antics aboard a ocean liner bound to New York to London. Billy Crocker is a stowaway in love with heiress Hope Harcourt, sometimes called a different name, who is engaged to Lord Evelyn Oakley. Nightclub singer Reno Sweeney and Public Enemy number 13 Moonface Martin aid Billy in his quest to win Hope. Sure. Sometimes that is not the plot, though, depending on which version you watch.
Okay, but that's the plot of the one we watched.
Yeah, we watched the new version.
Yes. However, it's so wild because it's going to be hard to talk about this show for 1,000 different reasons. Sometimes when they adapted it to film, they just didn't adapt it.
Like what? How do you mean?
Okay. The first film adaptation was in 1936, and it is kind of the original film. There's almost none of the big plot things. People are called different names. Things are in a different order. But you know what? Bing Crosby and Ethel Merman are there. That's great. And then in 1956, they did another film version of Anything Goes with all the same songs and starring Bing Crosby again with a different named character and a whole different plot. Same songs, different, like almost nothing to do. It was written by Sidney Sheldon. And the songs that they didn't like, they just cut out and replaced them with brand new songs. And then, you know what? We have the third version, which was the one released in theaters that we watched with Sutton Foster. But let's not forget the 1954 television version that Ethel Merman came back for, reprising her role as Reno. And it was done live, where her co-star was the one and only Frank Sinatra and Burt Lahr. And it also changed a lot of it, and a very different plot, and apparently Merman and Sinatra did not get along well, and it's near unwatchable. But you know the thing that all of them contain, and thought, you know what, we should keep this? The racism!
It's such an important plot element. So
Really, it is.
You really have to have it.
It's not.
That's Jess, that's load-bearing racism right there, okay?
Load-bearing racism.
But I don't like this clown. I wouldn't take it down if I were you. It's a load-bearing poster.
So I had to get all that shit out the way so that I could say, we're going to focus on the 2011 revival production as our focus. And I don't really care that in the 1934 production, someone had a different name, or this song came in a different order, or, you know, there was racism. Like, the original song, Anything Goes, had a lot of racist shit in it. We don't really want to talk about that stuff. We're going to talk about the racist stuff that's still in it, like a song with a slur in it.
Just to be clear, we watched the PBS Great Performances version from 2022.
Yes.
So very recent.
Now that I got all that bullshit out of the way, Andrew, what'd you think of Anything Goes?
Oh my god. Anything Goes is kind of fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
Honestly. Like, it's like one of those musicals where, like Jess said earlier, it's musicals in quotes, because none of the songs really have anything to do or not. It's not that they have nothing to do with the plot. It's that they don't progress the plot in any real way. It's just the show happens and then it stops so that they can sing, and that's about it.
Yeah, but the thing is, you're so enthralled with the songs while it's happening, you don't mind it that much. I almost just would prefer if this were a review of Cole Porter songs, because the plot feels like it's intervening on the musical that I want to be watching.
You said musical is in quotes, and I feel like plot should also be in quotes.
Yes.
Yeah, what plot?
Like, okay, so the plot of this is effectively, you could describe it in like one sentence, like, guy gets on a ship and wants to win a girl, and like, that's it. Like, really nothing else of importance is happening at all. There's a bunch of wacky hijinks, but like, realistically, there's no plot. The stakes are will he get the girl or not?
Yeah, there's literally like a mobster on board who's considered one of those dangerous criminals, and no one gives a fuck.
He's number 13, and they really care about number 1.
I said he's one of. That's why I said it that way.
Number 13's pretty low on the list.
Yeah.
Number 13 is pretty high. He's in the top 20.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, there's only like 15 of them though.
I don't
like number 13 is effectively the bottom.
That's true. I didn't know how many there were. I must have not paid attention.
Clearly weren't paying attention. They discussed this in depth.
Yeah, clearly. It's a very complex plot.
Shut the fuck up, Andrew. Stop bullying her.
I will gaslight. I will gatekeep. I don't.
Gaslight, gatekeep, all those.
Girl boss. I'm girl boss. You guys are one of the other two.
You want to know the most ridiculous part of this musical to me? And maybe it's just to me.
Besides the racism?
The racism we'll get to. We'll get to it.
So, to be fair, the one we watched, the racism is toned very heavily
it's down.
It
is
is
kind of present.
But I will definitely give a little clip show of all the school productions that decided, it's just too damn important to cut that.
That's just, it's load-bearing racism. You can't remove that.
Jerry, these are load-bearing walls. They're not going to come down. Yeah, that's no good.
We'll get there. But the most baffling part is we start the scene with like Reno and Billy. Like, Reno's like, "You're in love with me, right?" And he's like, "No, I'm not in love with you." And that is just never brought up again. That is really... she sings like, I get a kick out of you, and he's like, I'm not interested. And she's like, oh, you son of a bitch. And then they just kind of buds for the rest of the show.
Yeah. And it's wild because the I'll Get a Kick Out of You is like the first song.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like she sings this whole song about how she's in love with him, and then it's just not relevant ever again.
It is truly one of the more baffling parts of it. Because you think like, hey, maybe she's trying to go get him for the rest of the show, and she is not.
Also,
She's
she
in
only
fact-
gauged interest in him because he like treated her nicely as a friend and never made a pass at her. So she assumed he was in love with her. It was like, oh, girl, bring your like, you deserve better than this. You deserve better. Like, don't do the bare minimum.
I hate for this. Like, that joke hits a little better when your actress is someone like Ethel Merman or Patti LuPone. You know, I'm not saying either of those women are unattractive, but they are kind of not a traditional, like, you know, bombshell the way that Sutton Foster is, where it's like any person would walk over hot fires for Sutton Foster.
She looks incredible in this, by the way. She looks so good.
Every dance scene is... and Andrew, you're going to say, I hate dance scenes.
I was going to say, is this part
does.
17,000 of Jess Hates Dance numbers?
I was thoroughly entertained by every extended dance break. Especially anything goes.
I don't believe you.
He was like anything to get me away from the fucking plot.
Yes, I will claim to enjoy dance numbers, so I don't have to talk about the plot.
Get me away from Moonface, please.
Fucking Moonface.
Get me away from Bonnie/Irma, please.
Okay, Moonface actually sucks. Like,
Yeah.
this is a character that doesn't belong here. I don't understand what's going on with him.
So, Moonface in the original production was played by Victor Moore, who is a very famous comedy performer doing his shtick. Like, he was hired to just do his bits, and they wrote to his bits. And now every production after that is someone else pretending to do that old vaudevillian comedian's bits. And yeah, it's embarrassing. There have been some very interesting people that have played that role that I would have liked to have seen instead of this. You know, folks like Joel Grey or Kenneth Mars. Those
You
folks.
skipped Rip Taylor. No, that's not the Rip Taylor I'm thinking of.
No,
Fuck that.
you're thinking
Never
of Rip
mind.
Torn.
I'm thinking Rip Torn. Rip Torn would have been great.
Yeah, Rip Torn in that role.
This is really a vaudeville kind of show, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, it's heavy in that.
And I don't know if no one else has ever brought this up, but it bothers me. There's a character who is like the main character's boss, who isn't a main character, but, you know, is named a lot, called Eli Whitney. Elijah Whitney something. Do you guys know who Eli Whitney is?
The inventor of the cotton gin.
Yes. Is that like some deep racist joke that I like they're trying to make a gross racist joke there?
I don't even know.
I don't know.
Like, you could name that character anything, and you pick the inventor of the cotton gin. And considering all the other things you're doing in this musical,
It's an interesting reference.
Yeah.
And by interesting, I mean suspicious.
Or questionable.
I mean, here's the thing. There's no plot. It meanders for a bit. You get a bunch of Cole Porter songs. They have the, like, basis line justification for why they're singing. You have a good time. You go home, and you don't unpack any of that. And you think, wow, Sutton Foster's legs can sure dance.
Damn right.
Do we want to just... I can quickly just do the actual plot.
Yeah, let's do the actual plot summary for the audience who probably don't know.
There's the dude.
His
There's
name's
the
Billy.
main dude.
Billy.
His name's Billy.
Billy Crocker.
He's got this girl that he doesn't love, but he has a different girl that he does love. And somehow, like, his boss... No, hang on. His boss is going on a ship, and it's going to London. But the girl that he likes is also going on the ship that's going to London. So then he goes on the ship.
Don't forget the other girl that he doesn't like is also on that ship going to London.
The other girl he doesn't like is also on that ship for some fucking reason. Who the fuck knows why? I don't know.
She's performing.
And then also, there's just a wanted criminal just on the ship as well. And then the guy has to try to win over the girl.
But the wanted criminal is pretending
married.
to be a priest.
That's not important.
That's
though.
not important.
Well, no, it's important because Billy thinks he's a priest and he thinks he's helping out a priest, but he's really helping out a bad guy. But then the bad guy reveals himself to be a bad.
He very quickly reveals himself to be a mobster, and
him.
Billy is literally like, "Cool, that's fine." Like it doesn't even affect the plot.
He continues to help him.
Yeah.
And honestly, the entire ship finds out he's a mobster and doesn't give a fuck. So
in fact, they treat him
Who
better
cares?
because of it.
He's not the
Literally,
number
they
one
treat him like a
criminal, so
hero.
who gives a shit?
So, okay, we're gonna keep going. Hang on. Continuing on.
Okay,
the
so
girl that he
and she's engaged. Don't forget that she's engaged.
Yes, I'm about to say that the girl
Cool.
that he likes is not trying. She doesn't want to get married, but she's engaged to get married to some weird British
Lord
guy.
Evelyn Oakley.
And it turns out the weird British guy, which is sort of unlike these stories, is actually he's kind of a cool guy. He's like a fine guy,
Yeah.
but she doesn't really like him that much. So then hijinks ensues. The girl that Billy doesn't like at the start does like the British guy, and then there's a
But
big
she only starts to
flip-flop
like him
at the
after
end,
she was trying to seduce him to make the girl jealous.
and it didn't work.
So
But it
she
didn't-
actually started liking the guy.
Yes. So fellas, negging, it's a real strategy. This show says so.
Men
For real.
everywhere, don't listen to him. Negging is bullshit.
Negging.
Never neg
mean,
a woman.
I can't believe you'd say that. I mean, given your taste, why would you even? I'm. Is that what negging is? Did I do it right?
Yeah, you did it right, and I'm mad. So that's an indication.
I'm sorry.
I think
Did I
any
do
guy
it?
who thinks negging would work should absolutely
Any guy who
neg,
thinks
because
negging
it
could
won't
work should literally never go near a woman. Like, don't even try. Like,
Yeah, of course you'd say something like that.
I'm being nagged on my fuck.
I'm sorry. I love you so much, Liz. I'm sorry.
Damn.
Jess,
Did it
I'm
work
gonna
yet?
send my boyfriend to kill you.
And I will deserve it.
Okay, a bunch
I'm
of
sorry,
funny
I'm
shit
sorry.
happens.
I'm
Sincerely,
actually
sorry.
fine. Don't worry. I'm fine.
They sing and dance for another hour, and then the finale happens, and they all get married.
You're forgetting
There's
that.
also there's a third girl that gets married
Oh,
to
yeah.
multiple men because.
Oh
she's
yeah,
just
yeah.
like
There's
that.
the girl the Moonface is with who just fucks all the sailors, and she sings a song about how if they want to date her, they need like a lot of money, and then she just keeps fucking all of them. So
And it's the second to last song in the
Yeah,
show, and
it's very weird.
I don't know.
You're
But,
forgetting
that's
the
the
most
show.
important couple, and that is the boss and the girl's mom.
No. The most important couple is the girl's mom and the dog that spends most of the show in the ocean.
Yes.
The pool.
The pool, I mean.
We're supposed to think they threw them into the ocean because all we hear is a splash.
Yeah.
But they actually threw them in the pool.
Also, before it's thrown in the pool, it's in Moonface's pants. That's a different part of that scene. It's weird.
Yeah, and then he makes it look like he's jerking off, but actually he's got a dog in
He's
his
got
pants.
a dog in there, and they shave the dog so he can have a fake as the main guy can have a fake beard, and then at the end the dog comes back, so everything's
Did
fine.
you know that's actually where the saying "you have a dog in you" that's where that saying came from?
Fuck, I thought it came from porn. My
I just made it up right now, so
I believe that. I believe that. Well, Andrew, you did correctly predict that the origins of Shake Shack were from the Grease musical. You did. That was right. So
You shitting me?
Oh.
yeah.
And Andrew's good at that. He was drunk when he said that too.
Yeah, you were drunk as fuck when you said that too, and I Googled it,
all
and you
my
were
best
correct.
ideas are when I'm drunk.
I do want to point out that the moment that I almost said we're not covering this show anymore happened almost 10 minutes before it ended. And that was where she's like, what was it doing in the pool? And the entire stage, every character says the doggy paddle. And I'm like, and I just imagined every low budget local theater doing that. And the cringe I felt in my soul for the last 90 years of those people saying the doggy paddle made me want to emulate myself in the street.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say the racism made you not want to do it.
No, the racism made me want to do it because it's something to talk about. Should I talk about it briefly?
The doggy paddle joke. The doggy paddle joke is funny.
The joke.
It's funny.
No, it isn't.
It's hilarious.
Yeah, you would.
The way everyone yells out the doggy paddle.
Good job.
It's a communal experience.
And the audience can communally cringe.
Cringe? I laughed. Me personally, I clapped. I recognize the doggy paddle.
Andrew stood up and clapped, literally.
I clapped.
I started doing the doggy paddle on my seat.
Okay, yeah. I mean, some of the jokes are pretty fucking corny. Let's be real here.
The show's corny as fuck.
All right, can we pause for a moment and talk about the actual worst joke in it?
Oh, yes. What is
Only if I can follow it up with the actual worst joke in it. But you first.
I don't have a worst joke because they all went over my head because I ignored them.
Maybe we have the same one, Jess, but mine is when they pretend that they fuck up halfway through one of the songs.
Yes!
That's the worst joke!
Because it's Sutton
Even
Foster.
The audience wasn't laughing.
Is that just what Sutton Foster does when she's on Broadway? Because we talked about this in The Music Man.
Did she do this in The Music Man?
Yes, we did a whole rant about it and how she and Hugh Jackman fucking intentionally break so the audience applauds and they think they had a moment, but it's not a moment. It's fake. It's artificial. They're lying to you.
Oh
but
my God.
They did it here too. And the way she laughs is so clearly rehearsed. It isn't even real.
She has such a big kind of full mouth open, teeth out laugh.
The funny thing is, I saw Mean Girls on Broadway back in 2018, and there was a moment where Taylor Lautner and Erica Henningsen are in the bathroom scene at the end, and they legitimately break. It's a genuine break in the middle of the scene, and that was 100% real. And it's this is just fake. This for the Anything Goes is just fake as shit.
Same with The Music Man. I think, God, Sutton Foster, is this just something you do? Did you do this in Shrek? Speaking of ruining people, how about we compare our opinions to those of the theater critics all over the world?
It's time for previews. It's time for previews.
So I pulled one review from the 30s because I find it very fascinating to read reviews from almost 100 years ago.
Okay. I mean, that's fair.
And I know we don't do this much.
I hope they use funny words.
So yeah. This is from the one and only Brooks Atkinson, written November 22nd, 1934. The title was Anything Goes as Long as Victor Moore, Ethel Merman, and William Gaxton are present. I imagine, Andrew, why don't you do a funny effect on my voice and add some old-timey music to this?
Sure. We'll add a little radio effect.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
By keeping their sense of humor uppermost, they have made the thundering good musical show out of Anything Goes, which was put on at the Alvin last evening. They are Guy Bolton and P.G. Wodehouse, whose humor is completely unhackneyed, Hull Porter, who has written a dashing score with impish lyrics, and Howard Lindsay and Russell Crouse, who have been revising the jokes in person. After all, these Supermen must have had a good deal to do with the skylarking that makes Anything Goes such hilarious and dynamic entertainment. But when a show is off the top shelf of the pantry cupboard, it's hard to remember that the comics have not written all the jokes, and the singers have not composed all the exultant tunes. If Ethel Merman did not write If I Get a Kick Out of You, and also the title song of the show, she has made them hers now by swinging gusto of her platform style. Do you remember a pathetic, unsteady little man who answers the name of Alexander Throttlebottom, masquerading in program?
That's not a real person.
Masquerading in the program as Victor Moore, he is the first clown of this festival, and he is tremendously funny, for it has occurred to the wastrels who wrote the book to represent him as a gangster disguised as a parson, to place him on a liner bound for Europe. Among the other passengers are a nightcloud enchantress who sings with the swaggering authority of Ethel Merman, and a roistering man about town who enjoys the infectious exuberance of William Gaxton. There is also a lady of considerable breeding who can sing the soprano of Bettina Hall.
Dude, the 30s were a time, man.
I'm not gonna lie, This feels like AI generated a little bit.
You're the Top is one of the most congenial songs Mr. Porter has ever written, and Mr. Gaxton and Miss Merman put their toes as well as their voices into it. Although Miss Hall has a nicer talent, she plays the part of a girl at exalted station with winning good humor, and she sings all through the night with the thrilling beauty of a trained artist. For minor diversion, there is a foursome of dry-humored sailors for whom Mr. Porter has written a droll chanty. Count as items worth sober consideration a platoon of chorus girls, whose dancing is also well planned, a suite of Oslager settings, a wardrobe full of gowns by Jenkins, and a general good time. Guy Bolton and P.G. Wodehouse are always funny fellows. It is no harm to be associated with Cole Porter, Howard Lindsay, Russell Krauss, and a thundering good song and dance show.
That is ridiculous. that was. I know we make fun of Ben Brantley a lot, but I feel like that man said the same thing in every paragraph.
I think the 1930s were just a very, very, very different time, you know?
Yeah.
This was peak entertainment. Like, there was nothing better.
Like, saying a woman is a peak breeding was a compliment back then. Like,
well, I mean, she was very breedable.
Yeah,
you know?
she clearly...
Submissive and breedable, even.
Yeah.
And then you could just say things like, the jokes in Anything Goes are unhackneyed. You know, you could just say that. You could just, like, make shit up out of thin air and just say it in your review.
Like, I think
those
my
words felt
favorite...
made up. Like, I swear.
My favorite word in there, and I know we're gonna latch onto this for a while, is when he takes, like, Gaxton's name and he makes it, like, Gaxolophone. Loaphone, which is ridiculous.
You know what's great, though, is someday we're gonna sound like this.
Yeah.
Yes! People will look into this in the old Jedi records and be like, wow, that's what people listen to for entertainment before they could just drill holes in their head and just have Elon Musk tell them that the slurs right to their brain.
It's true.
Yeah, Elon Musk will be ageless.
One last thing before our mid-show, and that is the Letterboxd game, but I'm going to go speed round. Andrew versus Liz. This is a game where I read real Letterboxd reviews, and Liz and Andrew have to guess whether they're 1-star or 5-star based on the review alone. Are you ready?
So ready.
I'm born ready for Letterboxd.
We're stretching. We're ready.
All right. Andrew, you're first.
Okay.
Anything really does go, doesn't it?
Yes, 5 stars.
Correct. Liz.
Yes.
Dance, dance, dance. All lowercase.
5.
1. Andrew.
Ooh.
I see London. I see France. I've seen you all without your underpants.
5.
That is correct. Liz.
Yes.
The humor holds up while the Asian stereotypes do not.
1.
That is a 5.
Damn.
Andrew.
Okay.
You're on the way to a clean sweep, Andrew.
I'm not good at these.
Awkward monkey puppet avoiding eye contact.png at that racist final act. Barf emoji.
I know exactly the gift that they're talking about. We're gonna go 1. That's a 1.
That is a 5. Liz.
What? Yes.
The amount of hijinks in the show are unreal.
5.
That is correct. You're on the board.
Thank God.
Andrew.
Yep.
Who was catfished into thinking this was in color?
What? 1 star.
That is correct. Liz. Last one. Anything though? ...
Ooh.
Anything goes.
Anything goes? 1.
That is correct. And with a score of 2-3, Andrew, you won this one.
That was closer than I thought it would be.
I did great.
Good job to all teams. Hey guys, sorry to interrupt you in the middle of the show, but we've got a show to you. Today's show is brought to you by the extremely kind donations by our donors over at Patreon. Andrew, tell us a little bit about Patreon and who's supporting us there.
Oh man, Patreon's where you could go if you want to give us a little extra support and also get some extra content. You can see the video episodes, which give you, extra, just extra content that we cut out of the show. I can tell you this right now. There's going to be a lot of extra stuff that was cut out of our Death Note episode.
Oh, yes. Some spicy stuff.
So, if you want some spicy meatballs, that's a good one to check out. Our current patrons are Melissa Goldman, Danielle Renix, Justice Stampede, Ewan Cassidy, Monica Thoreau, Brent Black, Nathaniel Stacey Coombe, Joseph Evans Green, Mary Lou Choquette, John Van Alls, Russ Walker, Musical Hell, Emily Gracie, Kyle Summers, Janae C, Scoot and the Technicolor Dreamcoat, Nothing is Certain Except Beth and Taxis, Thesby and Robert Benjamin, Jessica T, Mitchell Young, Chai Teacup, Chris Marcotte, Kiji Marie Anastasio, Trevi Joseph, RJ Noriga, Julia McLannan, Bjorn Hermans, Toriana Frazier, Sammy the Adequate Amount Jacobson, Kaylee Blazier, Cinemageddon Reviews, Villainous Miss, Sophina Ali, The Omega Geek, Paige Pearson, Maddie Wargle, Eliza Erdman, Anna Loskatova, Sarah Den Blaker, Evan Ball, Zachary Torres, Rora Marasso, Mara Forloin, Lisa L, Possessed Washing Machine, Nick Row 10, Puffy Boy, Sydney Hicks, Annabelle, Billy Clifton, Gold Plated Kikimora, Julia Baldersdaughter, Hut Muttbutt, Emma, Dude 2.0, Matt, and Sabella Stang.
They all give us some money to keep the lights on here at Musicals and Cheese and help us do better than we currently are and get things out at a higher rank. You liked our wicked little trailer breakdown. We can do more things of that by you supporting us at Patreon. Also, we have a lot of cool stuff over at Patreon. We have commentaries on both Camp Rock movies. Me and Andrew just did a commentary on Angels in the Outfield. Liz and I have a lot of content over there, and hopefully some new ones coming up there soon. It's a cavalcade of comedy over there on our Patreon, and you're missing out if you're not there. As well, we have the Discord server, which is very active and full of good people. So come on and join us. Come on and slam, and welcome to the jam. All right, let's get on with the show. I get a kick out of you.
My story is much too sad to be told, but practically everything leaves me totally cold. The only exception I know is the case when I'm out on a quiet spree, fighting vainly the old ennui, and I suddenly turn and see your fabulous face. I get no kick from champagne. Mere alcohol doesn't thrill me at all. So tell me, why should it be true that I get a kick out of you? Some get a kick from cocaine. I'm sure that if I took even one sniff, that would bore me terrifically too. Yet I get a kick out of you.
I get no kick from cocaine.
Well, it's the problem
love this song
with this show. All the songs we kind of have connections with outside of a musical theater context. It is a jukebox musical by all accounts at this point.
Yeah, even though like maybe a lot of these came from this, I don't actually know. Were they pop songs before
Kind
and added to this,
some
or
were,
were they
some weren't.
written for this?
It's confusing. They're all Cole Porter songs, and some of them he wrote for it, some of them he didn't.
Well, regardless, I get a kick out of you, even though it literally has nothing to do with the show and is even contradicted like 1 minute after they sing it.
Yep.
Great fucking song.
I think I texted you while I was watching it the first time. I'm like, every song is a fucking bop. They have nothing to do with the story.
I had not watched it at the time, so I was just like, okay, well, I'll see. And then I started watching it, and I was like, damn, they just sing for no reason.
Yeah.
Huh?
I don't think this is the most egregious one in the story, but it's pretty random and pretty like, oh, it sets the tone for like the expectation of the songs.
I get a kick out of you. Great fucking song, but you already knew that. Like, let's be real. You already love this song.
Yeah.
If you love music theater, even if you've never seen this, I'm sure you like this song.
Yes. And then of course we have I think it's the best punchline ever is when they sing it in Blazing Saddles. I don't know if anyone else remembers that, but that is truly hilarious.
I get no kick from champagne. Mere alcohol doesn't thrill me at all. So tell me, why should it be true that I get a belt out of you? Some get a kick from cocaine.
Hold it! What the hell is that shit?
How about we move on to You're the Top?
You're the night.
Tell me.
You're the Tower of Pisa.
Ah, you're the smile of the Mona Lisa.
I'm a worthless check, a total wreck, a flop.
But baby, I'm the bottom.
You're the top.
You're the top.
Come to me.
You're the Eiffel Tower.
You're the top. Ah, you're an April shower.
You're the leading men in the season's 10 best plays.
You're the voice of Dinah, you're Dresden China.
You're Bouillabaisse. You're the top.
Ah, you was a Apfelstrudel.
You're the top.
You're a Yankee Doodle.
I'm a case of gout, a bee without a bop. But baby, I'm the bottom.
You're the top.
It's about gay, right? It's about being gay. Cole Porter was a very gay man, so this has to be about gay sex, right?
Yeah.
It definitely could be. I mean,
Yeah, I could
clearly
read it
those
that
lyrics, "You're the top," I mean, that has a particular meaning in certain circles, so.
Also, the chorus is if I'm the bottom, you're the top, thus indicating gay sex might happen.
Yes.
So.
I mean, he was kind of known for stuff like that, but baby, if I'm the bottom, you're the top.
Yeah, that means they're about to fuck in some readings.
I like this song. It does kind of like Reno just kind of bumps into Billy and is like, "Oh, hey you, we're buds, right?" And he's like, "Yeah, we're buds." And they sing the song. That's it.
It really is wild. Like, just some of these songs that are just literally out of absolutely nowhere. Like, characters will just bump into each other, yeah, and then it's just like, "Hey, you want to just like sing a song about how we're best buds?" And it's just like, yeah, let's do it.
The best part about the
about
the Wikipedia page for this show is there's a section under musical numbers where they mention the context in each version that each song is performed in, and half the time it's completely different.
Yep. That's why I had my big, long, angry rant at the beginning. I had my big, long rant at the beginning. I'm like, every version's kind of different. Yeah,
Okay.
your high school probably put on a different version. Yours probably had the weird moment where the white men dress up as Asians and do really horrendous accents.
Yup.
It was bad then, and it's bad today.
A lot of racism here.
So anything goes.
Anything goes.
The world is gone mad today, good's bad today, and black's white today, a day's night today, we're most guys today, the women prize today are just silly gigolos.
They think he's gangster number one, so they've made him their favorite son, and that runs the show.
Anything goes.
You saying your prayers, you like a green pears, you like a full chairs, you like a back stairs, you like a full affairs, you like with young bears, you like why nobody will oppose.
No, I'm not a great romancer, but protect your bounds to answer when I propose. Anything goes. Anything
It's my favorite song from Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom.
I really actually like this song. I think it's a lot of fun. It sucks that the earlier versions had like a really racist fucking verse.
Yeah, let's bring that
we should
up.
address
It's a great
that.
song.
So yes, in the original version of the song, there's a line that goes basically about black men, where it says, "When ladies fair who seek affection prefer a slur of dark complexion, anything goes." Cole Porter is a weird guy who might have thought that was a very progressive lyric.
It's clearly about like interracial.
Yes. Interracial love making, which Cole Porter was a man that liked to fuck a lot of black men, by a lot of accounts.
So is the song "Anything Goes"? Is it a like sarcastic like, geez, I guess anything goes now, or is it like they're happy about it?
I think it's joyous. Anything goes, but why the fuck is it in the story? Why are the sailors dancing to it? What's going on? Why do we care about a hint of stalking?
They're all just having a good time, okay? They're all having a grand old time.
Let's all fuck, everybody. Anything goes.
Yeah, there's a gangster
Honestly-
in the boat. Who gives a shit?
Honestly, on some level, like we're talking about this like it's a flaw, but on some level, it's just kind of fun
Yeah.
that they just sing whenever the fuck they want and it doesn't matter.
Well, you get to time. Well, let's talk about one elephant in the room that they have not addressed and they could very easily address.
Okay.
Okay.
There is a song in the 1962 version of Anything Goes, not the 30s one, but only in 1962, called Let's Misbehave.
I like a man with class and dignity and savoir-faire. It's getting late, and while I wait, my poor heart aches on. Why keep the brakes on? Let's misbehave. I feel quite sure un pair d'amour would be attractive while we're still active. Let's misbehave. You know my heart is true, and you say you for me care. Someone is sure to tell, but what the hell do we care? They say that spring means just one thing, two little lovebirds. We're not above birds. Let's misbehave.
That was set to replace a song called the Mama Rose musical title, and In Me.
It's the Oakley family secret. There's something dark and savage in our blood. In mine, especially. Long, long ago, so long ago I hardly know when, my great-great-grandmother now and then stepped out with a Dipsy.
Dipsy!
Of course you will say she was a little bit tipsy. But tipsy, no. Of their love there wasn't a doubt. So I can't wait to get the stage all set, so I can let the Dipsy in me out.
And Let's Misbehave is just objectively a better song, just as far as quality goes. That song is a classic, it's great, and I love it. And the other one's racist because it implies, because there's some Romani in this character, he's a fucking horn dog. Is that not what that's trying to imply?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, no,
it is
yeah, there was an
100%.
earlier scene where he mentions he's a horn dog. Like, he fucked in a
I also-
bush. Like,
I don't think it's fully unintentional that the character is portrayed in the version we watched as British and
Yeah.
European people. That this word means more to them than it does to us in America. So
yeah.
That also being said, in the production we watched, almost everyone that isn't Sutton Foster is British doing an American accent. And then we got one character doing a British accent, like their natural British accent. The funniest part is when you've got Brits doing an American doing a bad British accent, and their British accent is just kind of good.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of confusing things going on with this show, accent-wise. But this song's racist as fuck and should have been cut.
It was cut only in
It
1962.
was cut only in that.
Then brought back in the 80s because Patti LuPone probably didn't want to do another song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, this was by far the most uncomfortable section of it because it's just like, this doesn't need to be here.
Yeah.
Because, like, the real thing is none of the songs need to be here. So when you add a song like this, it's just like, well, why?
It's a load-bearing racism.
Yeah, it's load-bearing racism.
Am I the only person that hasn't said that?
Cut the Mama Rose musical in me and replace it with Let's Misbehave, because Let's Misbehave is just a better song.
Well, I guess since this show decided that it wanted to end in a bunch of racism, we should probably just talk about the other song that has a bunch of racism.
Yeah, we should talk about the racism.
Yeah, we're not... there's not really any other songs. You know these songs. Let's talk about the racism. So, Andrew, as you say, a lot of early musicals end in a court case. It's either a court case or a wedding, or both if you're Oklahoma.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this one ends in a wedding.
A double wedding.
Yes. A double wedding. And
a beginning that is weird legalese, so.
Yes.
Almost a court case.
Yeah, it is close enough to a court case. But in other productions, we have our two leads. We have Moonface and Billy in jail, and they have to break out. And what they do to get them to break out is play strip poker with Asian characters horrifically referred to as Chinamen. And you guess what that happens?
Wonderful.
They steal their clothes and they go out and pretend to they put on an accent, wear some horrendous clothing, and yeah. So let's look at some high school productions really quick. Relatively recent high school productions.
I'm so glad that we're doing this in high school.
And there are so many other links in this article of other school productions doing this.
Okay, I mean, I've been making a joke about it being load-bearing or whatever. The joke is here, you don't need to do this at all. There's literally...
You don't.
You could have any other ending. You don't need this in the slightest.
Yeah, like the 80s version changed their names to be less racist. Like, we can just make this not racist. Like, come on.
Not to be that guy, but... Sutton Foster was in another very famous yellow-faced musical called Thoroughly Modern Millie.
Oh, yeah, she was.
It's just a lot of things. Maybe I don't think you can really disconnect from this history unless you do an all-Asian production. I have not seen an all-Asian production of Anything Goes, and I think that would be interesting.
So it's
Put Kimiko Glenn in there.
The ending that we watched,
yes,
they toned it down considerably. And it looked like they actually got, and maybe I'm wrong, did they get actual Asian actors to portray some of these characters?
Yes, they were there, but they did, yeah. They just sidestepped it by not dealing with it at all,
Yeah. Well, I mean, honestly, they did the right thing in the sense that, yeah, you could just cut that aspect. It doesn't need to be there at all. Like, you literally could just remove it.
Other people have changed it from... quote unquote Chinamen to Russians, which that's fine. I like making fun of Russians.
Yeah.
I suppose. Honestly, though, you could just change it entirely. It doesn't even need to be anything like this. Oh well.
It's there's a lot of things going on. So we saved that for the end. That you had to deal with that. And I think it was important that we all dealt with that. But at this point, I think we just have to say, what's our overall thoughts and our cheese rating of Anything Goes?
All right, Anything Goes, I think, is pretty fun, to be honest. Obviously, there's some stuff that I would like to see changed. A lot of it is changed in the version we watched. But, you could still kind of remove some stuff. But basically, it's good. I mean, it's nonsense. The story's nonsense. The songs come out of fucking nowhere, but every song is a banger. And the story is light, and relatively quick, so it doesn't keep you hostage too much. I'm gonna give it a kicked up mac and cheese, because I get a kick out of this show. Also,
I like that.
Cut all the racism. We can cut all of it. You know, it doesn't need to be there.
Yeah. All right, Liz.
Yeah. I'm with Andrew. This is fun. Like, sure, there's a lot of stuff that's problematic here, and it's not like we should change a lot of this, but like it's just it's a screwball comedy with the Cole Porter songs in it. Like, it's kind of fun when it's not being massively racist. Like, if
just
you like
your
Cole
family
Porter,
events.
Yeah, basically, yeah. Like the songs are great, performances are good. They sing whenever they feel like, and that's very funny. It's like randomly they start singing, it makes no sense. I enjoy parts of it. We should cut all the racism, please. Like, please just cut the racism. We do not need the racism. If we cut the racism, the show is pretty good if it's not racist. And when it's not racist, it's solid. So anyway, I'm going to give this I looked at 30s recipes from the 1930s because I didn't think they would age very well, and I found something called tuna cheese spread, and it looks like barf, and it's described as this description is the flavor of tuna is very subtle and it's thick in this thick and creamy spread.
That's the smell of the dressing rooms after all the dancing and the Anything Goes number.
Yeah, basically.
Oh god.
Yeah, it looks disgusting. If you need to make fake vomit, look up this recipe. It's nasty.
It'll turn into real vomit if you try to eat it.
Absolutely.
But apparently it's creamy and delicious, so.
Apparently it's creamy and delicious according to this woman from Kansas who submitted this recipe.
Creamy and delicious tuna.
Yeah.
Sounds like a John Mulaney special. Anything Goes is fine. Like, you'll like the songs because you know these songs. It's got a wild history. Don't watch any of the movies. I know we all love Ethel Merman. Don't watch those. I watched them, so you don't have to. Like another critic out there, James Rolfe.
No. Andrew's gonna start playing the theme.
So I am giving this an Anything Goes cheese quesadilla from
What's in
Pocket
that?
Food Guide. Apparently, it takes 8 flour tortillas to make it, 500 grams of cooked sweet potato or butternut squash, lightly crushed or chopped, sea salt, ground pepper, 100 grams of creamy blue cheese, and 200 grams of fresh mozzarella. Enjoy the diabetes. You officially have it after eating that.
Blue cheese sucks.
Speaking of sucking, we suck the soul out of you this Valentine's Day. Thank you guys for listening. Please follow us on iTunes and Spotify, Musicals with Cheese. We're on Twitter at Cheesy Musicals, Patreon Musicals with Cheese, Instagram Musicals with Cheese, YouTube page Musicals with Cheese, Patreon podcast, Patreon with Cheese. Email us at musicaltheaterlives@gmail.com. Our keeper of the cheese is Juliet Antonio. Thank you, Juliet. This show is edited by the one and only Andrew DeWolf. Thank you to Liz Eston being our research and panelist, as always. I love having you here, and you give us such wonderful feedback and a bouncing board. And thank you to the Broadway Podcast Network for having us on the platform and for not kicking us off for the tuna explosion. All right, anything else we have left to say?
Anything goes, man.
Anything
goes.
In olden days, a glimpse of stocking was thought of as something shocking, but God now knows anything goes.
But I don't like this clown. I wouldn't take it down if I were you.
These are load-bearing walls. They're not gonna come down. Yeah, that's no good.